Shalom in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Once again, I'm yours, Prophet Dr. Samuel Mtishbi from the city of Kisumu, Kenya. Today I have a message, and the message that I want to share to the entire family and the people of Luo Nation. Once again, what I want to talk about, it's not based on education. It's not based on research. It's based on the voice that I hear, and that's the voice of the Lord. It's a high time that I want to pass this message to every Luo outside there. If you are a Luo and you know that your blood is a Luo blood, it doesn't matter the nation you are living into. It doesn't matter how comfort you are living. It doesn't matter what you own and what you owe. It doesn't matter your properties. Yes, you might be listening to me right now. Your life is good. You might be listening to me right now. You're very comfortable. But I will tell you the truth. Things are not good as you think. You might be suffering, fine. You might be struggling, it's okay. But still I'll tell you, your suffering cannot be compared to the disaster that befall and awaits the Luo people and the Luo nation. We Luos are the most aggressive people, the most intelligent people, the most vibrant people, the most intellectual people, the fastest people on earth in learning, acquiring skills with great imagination, ability and strength. We have made great institutions. We have helped nations to grow and to become what they are. But we have nothing of our own. Our home, our origin is scattered. We are divided, scattered all over the face of the earth. Yes, once upon a time, even Israel was the same as we are. But God used prophets to restore Israel. God used prophets to summon Israelites. God used prophets to gather them together. And by the hand of a prophet, the Bible says, Israel was formed, and by the hand of a prophet, Israel was saved. How about us? We are great. Luos are everywhere. Luos, we are in Egypt. Luos, we are in Sudan. Luos, we are in Southern Sudan. Luos, we are in Ethiopia. Luos, we are in Uganda, the northern Uganda. Luos, we are in eastern Congo. Luos, we are in western Kenya. Luos, we are in Cameroon. Luos, we are in Mara regions of Tanzania. And our Luos, we are as far as Nigeria, South Africa, and who knows? We are everywhere. The Bible talks about us in the book of Isaiah chapter 18. I want you to go straight to the book of Isaiah chapter 18 with me, and we see exactly what this prophet of God says. First and foremost, before I talk about Isaiah chapter 18, you need to know what exactly Isaiah, the type of a prophet Isaiah was. Isaiah was a prophet that God allowed to access his diary. In the prophetic lineage, every prophet, there is a way he's assigned or aligned to a specific purpose. For example, I can call Prophet Daniel a prophet with the watch of God, a prophet who had an access of God's time. And that's why Prophet Daniel, the book of Daniel, it has all the timings, if you know how to use the timing. And even Jesus himself clarified that. He said, when you shall see what was prophesied by Daniel, and Jesus was talking about the last day, he who read, let him understand. And so, I am not here to tell you about each prophet and what he was doing, the specific assignment that God had given them, but I come here to tell you that Isaiah was a prophet with the diary of God. Prophetically, I can say Isaiah was a prophet with the diary of God. The diary of God. He was a prophet who had the diary of God. God allowed him to access his diary. And so, that's why you see Isaiah prophesied about the fall of many kingdoms and their duration and their times. The years it was to take for the kingdoms to come to an end. And that's exactly what happened. Isaiah prophesied about the birth of King Cyrus, which happened after 100 years. Look at him. He prophesied about the birth of Jesus, which took 400 years to take place. And so with the diary of God in his custody, he was a custodian of God's diary. There is what he talks about, some tribe, some nation. He talked about it many years ago, before even the formation and the colonization of Africa took place. And that thing happened. But you see, there's the part that we have rejected to analyze and to study. If he spoke about a land below Cush, then we need to study which land is this below Cush. When you go to the African map, you realize the only land below Cush is none but Kenya. And look at what he says. Woe to the land shadowed with bustling wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, or Cush, which sends ambassadors by sea, even in vessels of reed in the water, saying, Go swift messengers to a nation tall and smooth of skin, to a people terrible from their beginning onward, a nation powerful and threading down, whose land the rivers divide, all inhabitants of the world and dwellers of the earth. When he lifts up a banner on the mountain, you see it, and when he blows a trumpet, you hear it. I will take my rest, and I will look from my dwelling place, for the Lord said that to me. Now, when you look at the book of Isaiah, the original version, it's talking of a particular nation which is below the rivers of Ethiopia. Some version uses the one word, a land of flying wings. When you take the country of Kenya, the map of Kenya, and you put it up, you take the photo of Kenyan map and you look at it from this level. This is what you will see from the map of Kenya. It looks like a dove or a bird that is flying. The north, northeast, and the south, southwest, it looks like the wing and the head of the bird, and the coastal of our country looks like the tail and the legs of a bird flying, and at the center it's the body of the bird. I know someone, you may challenge me by what I'm saying, but remember when I started speaking this, I said I don't want to speak based on the knowledge of education. I want to speak based on the knowledge of revelation. Now, Luos are the people. Luos are the people that Isaiah is talking about. And Isaiah, in some real original version, he says, a land of terrifying people who are scattered all over the earth. Why are Luos terrifying nation? And why are they scattered all over the earth? People cannot fit in one nation. People can't fit on one nation. So if the land below Ethiopia, it is Kenya, then the tribe that Isaiah is talking about are Luos. Why is Isaiah talking about Luos? Because the truth to be told, Luos are the real original Cushites. It doesn't matter how the scholars, through their manipulation, they have tried to change our identity and make us who we are not. We are not Nilotes. The word Nilot simply means people along Nile. They have refused to tell us what Nilotic is. But Nilotic simply means Nile River. People who walked along Nile. That is what it really meant. So it doesn't matter how the scholars will bend, that is not who we are. We are the Cushites. Because the original language of Cush was Semitic. Semitic. And Semitic is the original language of Luos. But Luos kept on breaking as they moved all the way from Egypt, coming down. The original home of Luos was in Egypt, a place called the place of love, the place of love, intimacy, the place of love, intimacy. And the original name was Misr, where people could sit and make judgment. Misr means ruling the case with love. And the second city of Luo was Khartoum. Khartoum. When the Arabs came to attack Luos, they called the capital city of Luos in Arabic Misri. They could not pronounce the word Kamisr, where the parties are, where love is made. It was a place of love, celebration. So they couldn't pronounce that word because of the Semitic accent, and they changed the place into Misri. Now, something funny, in English, we are not told what Egypt means. Egypt simply means a land of black people. Simple. Is it English? Egypt is not an English word. It's a Portuguese. It's a kind of Portuguese combined with some French, which simply means dark people. And their second capital was a place of music, Khartoum, which Arabs were not also able to translate it, to call it directly, and they called it Khartoum, which we call today the capital city of what? Sudan. So when the Luos were attacked by the outsiders, they were defeated in the battle because they had grown so large and so big. And so there were rivals and betrayals among themselves. And so each group left, forming its own community. And that's why up to date there are so many communities within Luo people. From over 10 countries, they speak different accents of Luo. They speak different pronunciations of Luo. And so they kept on breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking. But they still have one common name. There are common names regardless of their essence. There are some names which are common, like the name of their god and the name of their king. Ruoth remains Ruoth, full stop, regardless of which community you are coming from. And the name of God, Nyasaye, remains it, regardless of where you are coming from. But as they moved on, intermarrying with other communities and having relationships and integrating with other communities, they kept on changing and reducing their dignity, their identity, and their culture. But that was then. Thousands of years have passed. The prophecy must be fulfilled. Luo people must come back together. We, the sons and the daughters of our great fathers, must come back together. I'm not saying as a prophet of God, and I'm not talking about seceding or getting out of our nations, but I'm saying coming together economically, working together. And the power of a body starts with the head. And so the responsibility of this assignment starts with the Luos of Kenya and the Luos of Uganda and the Luos of Tanzania. The Luo communities that are near Lake Victoria, Winam, the head of the lake. And signs have been shown to us. We can't afford to ignore the signs. Sign number one. Once upon a time, there was a man in the land of the white people. This man started fighting for the rights of Africans through civilization, democracy, human rights, and other forms. Without blood, weapon, and guns, he brought a revolution that defeated a white man. I am talking of Martin Luther, and these are his words. He said, and I quote, one time he said this: I have a dream, and my dream is that one day a black man shall rule the face of the earth. That's exactly what he meant. These words were supported, seconded by Marcus Garvey, the wise man, the black man from Jamaica. These words were sealed by Nestor Bob Marley. He spoke about it. And many more African great men spoke about it. But some few years ago, their words became true. When a young black man left Kenya for further studies, this young man came from a village of Kogelo. He went to America for further studies. When he reached in the land of America, he fell in love with a white woman. They got into a relationship. He impregnated the white woman and he left America, came back to Kenya. Many years passed. A baby was born. A baby grew in hardship, in struggle, in suffering. There were so many white ladies this young man could have married, but he knew his identity. He knew his origin. He knew where he belongs. He fell in love with another black woman. This black woman had the power to shape him, support him, direct him. And one day he realized he's not just a person but a leader. He started his journey. You can't teach him about drugs. He went through all that life. Suffering, sleeping in the street. He went through that. But because the blood of leadership was running in him, the blood pushed him. He arose besides all the struggles he had ever gone through. He started his journey of fulfilling the prophecy that he became a president of the United States. He didn't lose his originality. Every time he traveled to his original home to meet his only remaining parent by the name Sarah, and Obama could travel to Kenya. There were many good names, European names, American names he would have used. There were better names from dictionary and other source of names. But he chose to remain with his original name, Obama. Obama is not an English name. Obama is a Luo name. And when he became the president, the prophecy was fulfilled. But the question is, why him out of all African nations? Why him out of all tribes from Kenya? Why a Luo? Why a Luo from Siaya? Why? Was it by coincidence? It can be coincidence in men, but not in the world of prophecy. Nothing is by coincidence in the world of prophecy. Everything happens as it was set to happen. And we say, for it was destined to take place, so it had to happen. Obama became a leader. He ruled. The words of Martin Luther were fulfilled. What are we learning as Luo people? Are we learning something that science, nature, it's talking to us, and it's a high time we need to do something about ourselves? Today, look at what is happening in Kenya here. The truth to be told, there is no democracy in Kenya if Luo people had not fought for it. The truth to be told, if you look at the tribes that have suffered in this country in the name of bringing revolution and changes, no tribe can be compared to a Luo tribe. They have paid the price of their own lives for change. They have been brutally injured, murdered, killed. We only know what we know. And if what we know is so painful, have you ever asked yourself, how about what we don't know? Because what we know is not all. But even though it's not all, it has nothing sweet in it. How about what we don't know? There are rumors Luos were being put in death bags and they were being thrown in the lakes. There are rumors there are Luos who are being thrown in the valleys, other parts of the country. But that's not what we want to remember. But even though that's not what we want to remember, it does not mean there are no lessons in it. The big question is, why are we being killed? And the biggest question should be, for how long are we gonna be killed? For how long are we going to be killed? But before we answer the big questions, we should ask ourselves, what is it that we don't have? So why are we being killed? Because we are fighting for our rights. That is the saying. That is what we have always known. And that's what we have been told by our political leaders. But the question is, when did they lose their own children? None. When did they lose their wives? We don't remember. We have never heard. When did they lose their children or their husbands? The history has no records. But we remember when we lost our brothers, our sisters, our sons, our daughters, our fathers, our mothers. For how many years shall we be found in the streets, rioting and blocking roads, burning tires, shouting, being tear gassed, receiving both live bullets and rubber bullets? The big question is, for how long? Is that all we can do? Is that what we have to go through? No. Enough is enough. Not to the government, but even to our own politicians. Enough is enough. We shall not continue dying in the streets. We shall not continue dying in other people's homes and in other people's towns. We also have our very own homes. We also have our very own towns. We can come back and develop them. And that is the message. I don't mean we separate ourselves from the nations where God has placed us. Those are our homes. That is where our homes are. If you are a Luo from Egypt, if you are a Luo from Sudan, if you are a Luo from Southern Sudan, if you are a Luo from Cameroon, from Uganda, from Kenya, from Tanzania, you know what I mean? Where you are, that is your home. But I simply mean, as sons of one father, one mother, we can change our game plan. Look, we are the most educated people. In terms of African communities, Luos we are. With no doubts, with no contradiction, we are the most educated people. We are the builders of the pyramids of Egypt. The type of houses we have, the traditional houses, confirms. Our four great fathers constructed things that are still shaking the world because we are among the most civilized people. Luos were the Mayas of Africa. Today, look at the original Mayas. Look at the original Mayas. Where are they in America? who can trace their history. They were scattered, they were divided, they were brutally killed, and they don't exist anymore. The same thing that was done to Luos. We can come back together with all the knowledge we have, and we can urge our leaders to come together, sit down, and have talks. How can we bring our all engineers together and think of how we can develop our own land, bring economic change, compete among ourselves in technology, in ideology? How can we bring all our doctors together and see how we can come up with solutions to problems that are facing the universe? If we can sit together and think of how we can come up with drugs that can cure complicated problems like HIV and other complications, pneumonias, all types of cancers. If we can summon our medics back home and say, now we are forming institutions of research, will the world not beg for help from us? Will nations not come to us? The words of Barack Obama, yes we can. It's the key that we needed, and it's the key that we should use, and it's the spirit that we should be baptized in. Yes we can. Our change as Luo people begins with this simple word, yes we can. There shall be no change in Luo nation until they embrace the word, yes we can. In everything, the answer is, yes we can. From the ancient time, Luos have been led by two voices, and the two voices was always in agreement. The voice of their king, Ruoth, and the voice of their prophet, Janabi. It was by the voice of their prophet and the voice of the king, in agreement, they made decisions. Today, our kings, our leaders, our politicians, they abandon the prophets. They don't hear prophets anymore. They don't even look for them. But see how your sons and daughters are being abused. They build, other people live in them. They plant, other people feed. Yet they themselves, they sleep hungry and they sleep on roads. Are you sure a Luo person is someone who should walk in the streets beating furious in the name that he's fighting for his rights? No, I disagree. As a prophet, I don't agree. How about if we come back and say, okay, let's think about our home. Let's think about our strength. Let's think about our ability. Let's find our heroes who are out there, who have made it. Let us call them back home and say, what have you found? When you went out to hunt, what did you got? If each one of them brings what he hunted or what she hunted back home, do you think we won't have enough food? We shall have. We'll have so much for ourselves, and we'll have some for our neighbors. And that's when they will respect us, value us, and honor us. It cannot be done until someone decides to do it. To all my brothers and sisters, wherever you are, in whichever estate you are, find as many Luos as you can. We are going to form ourselves. We are going to come back home, and we are going to build the homes of our forefathers. We shall restore the walls of our Jerusalem. We shall build the gates of our Jerusalem that were broken down, and we shall feed other people. They will know we are not hostile as they think. We were just hostile because they took away what was ours. But when we realized they couldn't return it, we decided to form. We are creators, we are makers, and we can, because God gave us the strength and the brains, and we can. We are going to use the system of Noah. Every step will be drawn from the word of God, from the wisdom of God. We start by creating the ark. Every Luo, wherever you are, if you are out of this country, if you are out of Kisumu, if you are out of wherever place you are, wherever you are, find another Luo, and find another Luo, find another Luo. Identify yourselves. I've never seen an empty Luo. Every Luo has something in the hand, and that is the slogan we use. Every time we are looking for campaigns, we say, I looked into my theme and I felt I am worthy, I'm ready. Every Luo has something. I've never seen a Luo who doesn't have anything. Every Luo has something in his hand. After putting yourself, after coming together, find out who you are. If you are doctors, put yourself in a cluster of doctors. If you are engineers, put yourself in a cluster of engineers. If you are businessmen, put yourself together. No matter how many you shall be, even if you are 5, start it. Then choose one of you to represent you. Let the system be the system of Noah. Let women form their groups of women. Men form their groups of men. Noah took two, a male and a female, into the ark. Identify yourself by your professions. After coming together, number 1, form your professions. Then start a group. Give it a name. Doesn't matter whether you find a Luo from Egypt, a Luo from Sudan, a Luo from northern Uganda, it doesn't matter. A Luo is a Luo. When our fathers, great fathers divided themselves, we were divided. But now it's time to come together and form an economic institution that will change who we are, what we are. It's only by doing that we shall have the home forming itself. Remember our traditional, our Asian structure. The house was round with a pyramid roof, but on top of it, it had something called suri, one sharp stick or wood facing up. And sometimes it could be crowned by a pot. But this one particular pole was supported by all the poles of the pyramid. And the poles of the pyramid were supported by the round poles of the walls. No single day our traditional houses were ever carried away by storms. And even the sharp point, it was to control gods. They could not just land on our houses anyhow. And it was a symbol that the entire house is in unity and no rains ever passed because of its steady slopes. That is our Asian wisdom. It doesn't matter which country you are from, you are still a Luo. We have to put countries aside and come together. Bring our brains back home. If we do so, we shall stand again. And wherever you are, as a son and a daughter of Luo people, and you have the blood of Luos running within you, this is the time. You are free to reach out to me. Use the number that you can see on your screen. If I don't pick your call, maybe I'm busy, maybe I'm in a counseling session, or I've gone on the mountain to pray so that the Lord God can speak to me further and more about these issues. Do a text. My communication desk will reach out to you, and I personally will also reach out to you when I'm back. This is the season of Luo people coming back home and establishing their homes. From here, no Luo will be interested in any politics because we were led by kings, not president. Presidentship is the weakest and the lowest level that a Luo man should even attain and achieve and go for. Luo people were governed by kings, Ruoth, not president. And if we build our economy, if we build our own people, our brothers and sisters, who will be interested with politics? Who will be interested with being a president? You'll never find a Luo person going to vote for these nonsense things. We'll only send our representatives to represent us at the national level of a nation, but not because we're interested with those kind of leadership, because we shall be having all we need in life. We shall be having our own king, our own elders who make decisions at our level of home. We shall be in control of the economy. So none of our sons, none of our sisters and brothers, none of our daughters will ever be stoned, killed, shot in the streets. Mourning them is not enough. Changing their life is all that we need. Like here in Kenya, after every election, a Luo man must be shot. A Luo man must be butchered. A Luo son must suffer. Can't we stop this? Can't we stop this? Yes, we can. Because if we empower our own homes, none of our Luo man will be in the street looking for what, fighting for what. They will be busy with their industrialization. They will be busy in making drugs, research, coming up with solutions. They will be busy in engineering. They'll be busy, and many nations will be coming to our lands for change. China's were people like us. Once a time, they were the most poorest people. They were among the most poorest people. They didn't go on the streets to change their lives. They changed their mindset. They summoned each and every China from wherever part of the earth they were, and they were given a chance to establish what they were capable of. Today, China speaks, coughs, and other nations listen. We, Joluo, we can make the same. We, Joluo, can become. Indians were just like us one time. Even after their wars and wars, they realized it was changing nothing. They realized all they needed was to change their game and their mindset. Today, India coughs and other nations listens. Luos, if we come together, if we summon our sons from all over the earth, those who are in militaries in other nations, come back home and teach us what you have learned there. Not how to fight, but how to become creative. Our doctors from every part of the world come back home, not to treat us, but to start hospitals. The knowledge that you have gathered there. Do you know Luo doctors are the highest in number in UK? See, you have a good house in UK. You have a big vehicle in UK, but your brothers and sisters are dying of malaria in Africa. Graves everywhere. Isn't it not a shame to us? Look where you came from. Government facilities with no drugs. Look at yourself. You are an engineer in US, in France, in Denmark, in Sweden. Look at back home. Roads that people can't even walk on foot when it rains. Don't we have storms in Seme and other parts of Luo land? I know this message may be useless to others, but I'm sure it is not useless to you. My brother, if you don't come back home soon, one day when you come, you will find no one in the village. If you don't think about home soon and faster, I'm assuring you, one day when you come back home, you will find no village. And all your people will have perished simply because you were not there. You went out there not only for yourself, but also for us back at home. My sister, yes, your life is comfortable, but I will tell you one thing. One day when you will think of coming back home with your children, you will find no brothers, no uncles. Do you know what you will find? You will find an empty home. Dala Gunda. That is all you will find. Think about home now. Remember what our elder brother, our senior brother, remember what he said. And this message is also for him. You said it. Yes, we can. Let people say what they want to say, but home is always the best. Remember one story in the Bible. When Joseph was alive, the Israelites were respected. But as years went and went, Joseph was forgotten, erased in the history of Egyptian. And so his very own family was turned into slaves. How about if Joseph would have thought of their home while he was still alive? Maybe that slavery would have not occurred. Is it the same thing you want to do to us? Think about home while you are still alive. Come back home. Help us. Come back home. Help us. We are looking for you. We are waiting for you. We are tired of the streets. We are tired of tear gases. We are tired of bullets. Look into Kenya, for example. We brought the Constitution, campaigned for it, voted for it. We brought a symbol of orange. But today the same Constitution is what is killing us. Even the very rights we had in the Constitution, it's taken away from us. And I will speak this without fear. Our brothers were given flowers, but those flowers couldn't change anything. In fact, even now as I'm speaking, those flowers have started drying and some have started rotting. But their children will remain orphans forever. Their wives will remain widows forever. Their mothers will see their graves forever, will remember the brutality all the days of their lives. We don't need flowers. We need life. It's not the flowers we need, our politician. It is the life we need. We have lands. We can build industries. We have schools. We can change them to polytechnics and universities. And we have our brothers and sisters outside there. Come home and teach us what you learned. Come home and let's start universities and teach and make as many doctors as we can. Come home. Let us make our brothers and sisters as many engineers as we can. May God bless you if you have a heart for us. But if you don't have a heart for us, may one day your generation judge you. That there was a time our people, through a prophet, cried out, and our father was so mean, selfish. He was a man for himself. He left them to die. But I know, and we all know, who you are. We have confidence in you. We know you are good heart. You cannot allow us to perish. You can't allow us to perish. Then come home. The history will always talk about you, how you changed and saved us. Finally, Esther was at a crossroad. Either her good life as a queen or her people. She chose the people and she saved her people. And out of her salvation, the greatest king was born from them. From Esther, the tribe of Jews stood, and so Jesus was born. Imagine if Esther would have said, everybody for himself, God for us all, then she says, it's I and my husband. All her people would have perished. And who knows, maybe her also. You are the Esther we have. What are you choosing? You are the Mordecai we have. What is your choice? Shall it be you or your people? God bless you.